mega Times Now exclusive coming your way. We are going to start with some news which is coming in. Times Now has managed to access a remand copy of 16 PFI accused who were arrested by the Hyderabad Police on the 7th of July. Now, the remand copy reveals a sinister anti-India plot to establish an Islamist group. In fact, the remand copy reveals just how the accused trained youth to kill by using a knife, and the intent was not just to injure but to kill. They were even given specific training to infiltrate a mob and kill everyone. Let me go across to Shamit, who's joining us with more details from Hyderabad. This is a mega Times Now exclusive, Shamit, but it's very disturbing that PFI, which, remember, several attempts have been made and promises have been made that it will be banned. It has been tagged a radical organization by the NIA, but it still functions with immunity. That its aim, as per the police remand, was to recruit Muslim men and train them to kill.
Well, Meghna, you have to give me a couple of minutes. I'll explain you what exactly happened on 4th of, this month. Initially, a karate master who was also, known and also, master. He was actually arrested by the local Nizamabad police. And after having a source and information that he was training PFI activists from across, Telugu states, both the Telugu states, we can say, from across several districts. And later, following that case, on 6th of this month, again, 3 accused have been arrested, including prime accused, who is also a PFI activist, and his name is Sheikh Sadullah. In his confession to the police, he has clearly stated that there were around 200 PFI activists who were undergoing training in the Nizamabad district of Telangana, and also in these 200 PFI activists there were people coming out from from different districts, even including from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and even some came from neighboring states. And later, after that, police have filed a remand report after these 4 were sent to the judicial remand, and but they have identified 28 PFI activists out of 200, and they have been booked under this FIR, where Nizamabad police have registered against these people for undergoing training. And in this confession and also in this remand report, it is clearly stated. I'd like to read out a few important lines from that remand report. It was stated that there are 15 wings, including SDPI, Campus Front of India, National Women's Front, even other organizations, and on this pretext, the PFI are recruiting Muslim youth and also using them, giving them training, and also feeding them the hate, including the to carry out several activities which are anti-national, anti-social, and also anti-Hindu ideology is being fed to them, and also how to pelt stones, how to use them in the riots across the country whenever, wherever they want. And even we have covered the Bansa riots, and also even we have covered the Kadapa riots, where it was alleged that in Kadapa police came and said that PFI activists were involved in that riots, and even in Bansa it is suspected that these PFI activists are involved, and several other sensational statements are involved, and mainly the PFIs in confession, and also the handbooks which were seized, in which it was clearly mentioned that how to use the stones, how to pelt stones to destabilize the country, and also establish Islamic governance in India as per the Sharia law, and even other sensational statements we can say. In the confession, it was clearly mentioned by Sheikh Sadullah, the main PFI activist who was arrested, stating that the PFI activists are turning this Muslim young youth to missiles, and also as if needed they will be turned as suicide bombers, and they will be used wherever needed. And these are all statements from the official remand report. And also it was mentioned in the second handbook which was seized by the Nizamabad police, stating that we are doing this against kafirs. That means the people who disbelieve in their religion, in their faith, and we should fight against them, against their ideology. And also it was mentioned that the kafirs, the disbelievers in their faith, they actually try to suppress us and also torture us. And even a verse of Quran was mentioned in that handbook, and that is also mentioned in the remand report. It was clearly stated that the Quran verse 146, Quran Surah Al-Imran, Banu Quraisa advocating we should be like Mujahid, and it is mentioned that it is nothing but advocating to use violence and that as a weapon. And he's turning all these people these Muslims mainly targeting from the poor families, going to the colleges, going to the madrasas, mohallas. These PFI activists are getting sourced by these 15 wings, that is other frontal organizations like SDPI, Campus Front of India, and other organizations, and recruiting vulnerable youth, we can say, actually, who are staying in vulnerable conditions, who are under BPL, and luring them by offering several gifts and other things, and under the pretext of social activities, they are going into the societies, going into the madrasas, mohallas, colleges, several other places, and then recruiting this Muslim youth and turning them, feeding them the anti-country hate, anti-national hate, we can say, and using them in several other places. And also, it was mentioned in the fourth handbook that PFI funding to the people who are booked in the UAPA cases across the country. So this is also a big claim, and now police are also, searching for the other accused PFI activists who are involved into this case, because, in the confession is stated that 200 PFI activists across different districts from both the Telugu states came to Nizamabad for training, and already 28 PFI activists have been identified and 4 have been arrested as of now.
Well, this is one of the most conclusive remand copies which puts together the entire PFI dossier, the PFI files, and Shamit has managed to access it for us, and it once and for all also furbishes not just allegations and charges against the PFI, but it is backed with confessions, it's backed with handbooks as well as arrests and arms which were seized by the police that you can see on your screens. Let me go across to Swati. Swati, can you tell us some of the relevant excerpts of the police remand, the entire PFI dossier that we've managed to access?
Right, absolutely. As far as the plot is concerned, there is similarity between what was uncovered in Bihar and this particular remand copy, and it exposes the role of PFI and their agenda. Let me read out the operative part. It says, from the facts and evidence collected so far during the course of investigation, it has been established that the main motive of PFI is recruiting the active Muslim members, train, feed them with hate against the other communities. The ideology of the organization is whose activities are anti-national and anti-social. They are specially imparting training in stone pelting, use of knife to kill anyone at an instance, and destabilizing the country thereby to establish the Islamic governance. You'll find similarity in this particular reference. Their agenda, once again I'm repeating, their agenda is to destabilize the country, to establish the Islamic governance in India as per Shariat law to its cadres. And here are names of the different wings of PFI organization.
Right.
The SDPI, Social Democratic Party of India, which is the political wing, Campus Front of India, the student wing, National Women Front, the women wing, and so on. Now further, this also says they raise funds in the form of donations from common people and other sources under the guise of social work, charity work, and use the raised funds for their anti-national, anti-social activities, and further use the funds to increase their cadre strength and train their cadre both physically and mind training as well, and expand the reach of their organization to other parts of the state.
So there you have it, the entire PFI dossier here on Times Now. Let me go across to our panelists. Joining us today, Sushil Pandit, an activist, also Majid Hyderi, a political analyst. Majid Hyderi, my first question comes along to you. Here on Times Now, we've managed to access the police remand, which cites confessions, booklets which were seized, as well as arms and weapons that we have visuals of. Can it be denied anymore that yes, indeed, this was an anti-India plot by the PFI?
Well, madam, the police remand sounds to be like a document of absurdity, because I heard it on your channel only that the police remand says that they were in possession of a Quranic verse. Now, if possession of a Quranic verse,
no, it didn't say that.
A terrorist,
it said that there were verses which were lifted from Quran, but then in addition to that, they were citing those to bleed India. So let's not misconstrue the facts here.
Let it be any verse. If that is true, then entire community of 20 crore Indian Muslims is supposed to be terrorists.
No, there is no problem with Quranic verses. The problem is when you indoctrinate people, teach young boys from poor backgrounds how to kill. That is the problem.
Yes, I respect you, madam, for this. Then let me remind you, in December 20, between December and 19, there was a religious parliament head of the Indian democracy. It was called Pakistan.
And we never had IA proving that this funding that does. We never had ED checking out this to money laundering. We have never seen an ED question Bajrang where they get funds.
There seems to be a bit of an audio problem with that. Unfortunately, there's a bit of a problem with the audio. We are going to get that fixed for Majid Hyderi. It seems that, however, he is going into whataboutery. Why not this and why not that? If we are asking you straight questions about this anti-India plot, seems like you are trying to digress from the subject. Till then, let me go across also to Mr. Sushil Pandit. Sushil Pandit, how would you like to react to it? Are there any doubts left? Can we still continue to give cover fire to an organization like PFI?
No, I'm amazed why government hasn't acted so far. It's not been a few years, but ever since its inception, PFI has given enough evidence of it being a terror organization, an extremist organization bent upon creating violence in this country in order to establish an Islamic caliphate. 2010 is when they chopped off the hands of one Professor Thomas in Kerala. And several of the PFI members were convicted for that crime. PFI is known to have recruited people for even ISIS. PFI has been routinely found to be involved in riot after riot. Even Shaheen Bagh was supposed to be funded, as ED found out, through the money trail. They had a hand in Delhi riots also. Their member, in the garb of a journalist, wanted to create feud in Hathras as well and was arrested. I wonder what is keeping government away from banning this organization and clamping down on it. Now, I just heard a logic, I just heard an argument that just because there is a Quranic verse found, which means the entire community should be declared illegal or terror. It is, it's such a facetious argument. It's like saying because Jaish-e-Mohammed has Muhammad name in it, so everyone with Muhammad name in it should become terrorists. Now, when you run out of arguments or logic, you resort to such idiocy. And this should be clear to anyone who's hearing this kind of rationalization and defense of PFI.
Yeah, let's not rationalize what's written in these documents, pamphlets. It's very clear. Indoctrinate and train youth to go out and kill and set up an Islamist state. Majid Hyderi, hopefully your audio is a bit better. We may agree or disagree with you. However, are you running out of excuses, as Sushil Pandit says?
Clarify, PFI is a humanitarian organization.
It's Gandhian zeal. But the irony of the country as of now is that from Rahul Gandhi to Sonia Gandhi to these Gandhians, every
What are we discussing here, Majid Hyderi? I asked you a straight question about PFI. Go ahead.
No, I am also talking about PFI is a humanitarian organization.
Humanitarian organization.
Yes, it's supposed to be. It's documented that it's a humanitarian organization. But wherever you have a Gandhian or a Gandhi, he is being questioned by ED, and that is what exactly is happening in this case. You have ED question.
What kind of a humanitarian organization teaches how to kill, Majid Hyderi?
Madam, one simple logic. My honorable government, my honorable Prime Minister, my honorable Home Minister has said that after the demonetization, money laundering has ended. So how come do we have ED now questioning and probing money laundering?
No one said the demonetization has ended the terror trail. Terror trail is a reality, and that is across the world. And there are FATF also which looks into it. It's global and it's true, and no one said it's ended. Majid Hyderi, if you're running out of excuses, let's not try and project PFI as a humanitarian organization after its workers have been arrested in a very nefarious plot, if it is to be believed, with pamphlets which are teaching poor students from poor backgrounds to kill and maim in the name of a religion. Majid Hyderi, as well as Sushil Pandit, thank you so much for joining us. We are unfortunately running out of time, but this debate continues right here on Times Now.